Cari, so excited to meet with you. Could you just tell us about your connection with kidney disease?
Absolutely. So I am the daughter of a kidney transplant recipient who received a kidney in 1987, and that kidney provided him with 31 more years with our family. So we're grateful to the person that checked their willingness to be a kidney donor or an organ donor, and we're grateful to their family. And then personally, I am a kidney patient in stage 4 kidney disease from hereditary polycystic kidney disease that also my dad had, my 2 siblings have, and my oldest daughter.
Wow, that's very intense. And
Yes.
what is the status? Do you need a transplant? Are you on dialysis?
So I am pre-dialysis. My eGFR is 21. So when it hits 20, which could be days, months, a year, not really sure how long that will take to just count down one more percentage point. When I get to 20, I'll be able to list for a kidney transplant. And that is my hope, that I will get a living and preemptive kidney transplant and not have to go on dialysis. Something that I'm starting to strategize about how to get the word out there and what would happen next after I would get someone that would be interested.
And you mentioned something about donors being able to afford donating. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, so in all my research, what I have found out through just reading and through being involved in political advocacy with the National Kidney Foundation, I have just come to understand the financial burden to donors is something that, if you're not in a position where you can take off work and have that time be unpaid, first of all. Second of all, maybe even not have your job protected by your company, because living donation does not yet fall under federal FMLA. So there's a lot of consideration on the financial side for someone that would want to donate. And in my mind, when I think about the list of people that might be willing to do that, it rules out a lot of people that aren't independently wealthy, may not have a savings cushion to kind of get them through whatever their recovery time is if it's unpaid, have the luxury of taking that time off of work and having that time protected by their employer. This is my disease, and this is a challenge I've known I was going to have for years. I have worked with my husband, and I have worked together to set ourselves up to be ready for how this will impact us as a family. And we've chosen jobs and made other life choices to make sure that we're ready for whatever is going to happen to us as a family. But, we think more about what will happen to our donor. And, God willing, we will have someone that will step up and be a good match. But our first concern is really going to be, how will they be impacted financially? And we'd love to remove any barriers to their ability to donate, especially if finances is one of them. So when we think about GoFundMe, we think about a day when we will be out raising funds to help, our future donor.
Thank you. And I don't know if you're aware, but the government does have a federal reimbursement system for donors. However,
Good.
you need to be, as a donor, earning less than $47,000 a year, as well as your recipient needs to earn less than $47,000 a year to qualify. And
Right.
so I'm working on passing the Honor Our Living Donors Act, which will reimburse all donors for their out-of-pocket costs and lost wages, removing that barrier so that if someone is considering donating, they know there's going to be pain involved, there's going to be a loss of time. However, they will be cost neutral after a donation. What do you think
That's
of that?
wonderful. That's wonderful. Personally, the income limits, count out our family and count out a lot of families. 47,000, I appreciate the government, stepping in and coming up with a threshold. I'm sure that's how things usually start out. But it's just not practical for people that, are making more than that. That doesn't mean they automatically have the means to cover all of the expenses related to being a donor and being a recipient. So I'm all for it, Elaine.
That is great. And I am really hopeful that you get a kidney exactly when you need it. I would recommend checking out National Kidney Registry's microsites. That's a good avenue. And, you know, being in touch with the National Kidney Donation Organization, as well as I know you're very connected with the National Kidney Foundation. That's where we met in Washington, D.C. And so I just thank you so much for your straightforward analysis of the current
Mhm.
situation. And I just wish your family great health and longevity. And I'm so impressed that your father took such good care of the deceased donor kidney that is supposed to last on average 10 to 15 years. And was it 31 years that it lasted?
31. Yeah, it's amazing. It's an incredible story.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. Anything else that you want to add?
No, I appreciate people like yourself that are out there, working on behalf of people that need this help now, but there are people right behind them that are going to need it in the future. And we're counting on our government and wonderful advocates like yourself to stand in the gap for us. For those of us that are, battling our chronic illness, and we're putting a lot of our energy into working our full-time job and taking care of our families and doing everything we can to make our kidneys last up to the very last minute. And so we just, as a family and me personally, we appreciate all the efforts by your organization and of course the National Kidney Foundation and Polycystic Kidney Disease Foundation for standing in the gap for patients like us.